Hi folks, welcome to my channel or welcome back. My name is Kat. I'm a licensed registered dietitian nutritionist and online nutrition coach. I focus in on sports nutrition, digestive health, prenatal nutrition, and overall practices that support physical, mental, social, and emotional well-being. I don't know if the lighting is a little bit off today. It's a little bit of a different time, and also I usually record on my phone, and I upgraded my phone, but they didn't have it in stock, and so they have to send it to me. So I got a phone to have for the couple of days that I have in between switching. So I don't know how the quality will look, but we're just doing this. Today, we are doing a deep dive on a nutrition-related, health-related MLM. This is probably one of the wildest ones, the one with the wildest claims that I have seen, one of the strangest nutrition-related MLMs that I have covered. We are talking about Black Oxygen Organics, aka BOO, aka dirt. Dirt that you can soak in, you can mask up, you can drink, all of the above. So if that sounds good to you, let's go. As with all of my deep dives, I will be taking a look into it with more of a nutrition lens. There are going to be other creators who are currently making videos about BOO that I'm so excited to watch. This is the new topic right now in the anti-MLM community. We need to talk about it because the claims are just outright dangerous. This video is 100% my opinion based off information that I have found online. I will be linking tons of resources down below regarding citing sources, ways to report some of these claims, and just a lot of stuff. So definitely take a look there. Now I wanted to start this off by giving a just huge thank you to a couple of people and groups. MLMombie or MLMombie on Instagram and Facebook has been really involved, and I would say the forefront person in the anti-MLM community or in the anti-MLM movement involved, who is really looking into this company and helping a lot of us with a lot of the information that we are getting. She has been super helpful in bringing lots of information to creators. She has a Facebook page called BOO is Woo, also linked down below. It's just blowing up right now. We have so much work to do in reporting these claims, sharing these claims, and reporting them. That is the goal of the group, is getting the information to the authorities so that they can take action against these kind of claims and stuff going on. I just wanted to make sure that Mombie was fully credited in this. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to David Bykowski. He has been just tremendously helpful in gathering a lot of the former BOO consumers or distributors and getting the word out on those really harmful claims that a lot of the newer distributors and former ones who have stayed in, but that they are currently making, and some of the other concerning things regarding the company as a whole and the product safety as a whole. He was very high up as a distributor for BOO formerly, and he mentions that when he was involved, people weren't making these kind of claims regarding parasites and such. Despite our differences on MLM as a topic, I still very much appreciate the work he has done and the time he has taken to even talk to me, and how far he's helped the overall community with information so that we can talk about it. Creators can talk about it on TikTok and on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and everywhere that we need to talk about it. Anywhere that we can show up and tell people, help people see that this is an issue. He runs a Facebook group, BOO Seekers of Truth, which is also linked down below. Citing sources is important, and giving credit is extremely important, and those are the two biggest people, in my opinion, that have really helped to get that information to the light so that people, the community, creators, that we can talk about this. And the collective group as a whole of BOO is Woo and BOO Seekers of Truth, the communities within there have helped so much as well. So I just wanted to make sure that sources and credit are appropriately talked about. And this video has chapters, so you can also see where it is that I'm talking about everything. So we'll dive into exactly what BOO is, but first I wanted to share some claims from distributors so that you know what we're dealing with. All right, so the first claim coming from a distributor, there is a woman. She is holding her bottle of BOO. She says, "I can't express how grateful I am for BOO. Did you know that all humans have parasites? What happens when you have parasites? A few symptoms of parasites include chronic fatigue, inflammation, weight gain, nutrient deficiency, migraines, candida, constipation, and the list went on. This is a little far-fetched. There are so many reasons why somebody can have those symptoms and not be related to having any parasites going on. I know it is really popular in kind of the alternative health kind of circles, and that we need these kind of parasite cleanses. Everything that I have found from a reputable source, anybody who is concerned about having these parasites should really talk to their doctor first, especially before starting any kind of treatments or anything like that. As I mentioned in my gut health video or digestive health video, I always recommend, if you are having a lot of symptoms, it's really important to check that out with your doctor, especially because a lot of these distributors like to relate it back to digestive health, and so there are so many red flags when it can come to digestive health, other things that really need to be taken into account. And so getting that treatment, getting that help checked out by a doctor is really important in my opinion, so that they can rule out potential other things that are going on. So if you are experiencing those things that this person is mentioning about having parasites, I would go to your doctor and let them rule that out, as well as everything else that they can rule out digestive wise, because all of these things, chronic fatigue, inflammation, weight gain, nutrient deficiency, migraines, candida, constipation, all of those can mean so many different actual things going on digestive health wise. And I hate the idea that people are just purchasing dirt from a bog in Canada to treat those. One of my friends actually asked her, she was wondering what she would say about COVID, if she would make any claims about that. And she asked, does it help with it? And this distributor said it boosts your immune system. So I definitely say yes. And then some of the other things she said was joint issues, anxiety. Parasites can cause symptoms that seem to appear out of nowhere. Sugar addiction is a big indicator that you have a parasite infestation, as parasites feed and multiply off sugar. This person said, trust me now, I said I would never promote a health and wellness company. This is the only product that has changed my mind. There's a simple reason for that. It simply works. Want to see thousands of customer testimonials? I can add you to the group. It's funny because I got kicked out of some groups that I was in undercover. I actually wasn't undercover. I was with my full normal profile, but it was funny because I would see people in there being like, I've been trying this for a couple months. I haven't seen anything. What's going on? Okay, so back to this. I'm urging you to try this. I want you all to feel what this can do for you. P.S. You don't have to drink it. We have it in other forms, which we'll talk about. So some of the claims of this person includes, I'm just going to say all the claims. So immune weakness, impotence / sexual dysfunction, infertility, muscle weakness / dystrophy, liver dysfunction, acne, anemia, arthritis, asthma, brittle nails, birth defects, low blood sugar, digestive problems, eczema, edema, goiter, low thyroid, hair loss, thinning / graying, hyperactivity, hyperthermia, memory loss, chronic fatigue, brain fog, nervousness, osteoporosis, PMS, periodontal disease, receding gums, wrinkles / sagging skin / facial aging, depression, cancer, candida, cardiovascular disease, cramps, and constipation. First off, I don't know why they put everything in like different font sizes and random places. This is just a weird picture to me. That's just my opinion. But all of those claims, y'all, I will get, and you'll see a little bit of emotion, like negative emotion, anger, frustration from me. That might be coming up later. But like, when I see something like this, do y'all laugh too? I fluctuate. I'll say I've seen this several times as I was like preparing for this video, and I've shared this with a couple people. So I've seen it so many times, and so I think I was really upset when I first saw it. But now I'm just like, how does somebody feel comfortable, confident posting this picture? How can you say that it helps with all of those conditions or all of these conditions. That is a lot of claims. We can't do that. You're not supposed to do that. And this person also said, who on my friends list has post-COVID symptoms? Bloat, fatigue, no energy, foggy brain, no stamina, addicted to caffeine, addicted to sugar. I hate that so much. Struggles with weight, not drinking enough water, but wishes they could. Problems focusing, can't sleep. Anyone? The problem is that a lot of people are going to be like, I identify with maybe one or a couple of those. And it doesn't have to do with parasites. There are so many other things that we can do and tweak and manage and approach that don't require you to purchase dirt. What if one simple product could alleviate even just a few of these? What if it could alleviate all of them? What if I told you this was a list of things I was dealing with on a daily basis, and now after 2 weeks, I no longer do? You trust me, right? You trust that I always have been honest with the products I promote. Trust me now. I said I would never promote a health and wellness company. This is the only, I read that out of order. So she goes into, I said I would never promote a health and wellness company, which is where the beginning of this, I have so many screenshots, but yeah, I just got it flipped. But then it goes into the trust me now. I said I would never promote. There's a reason for that. It simply works. Want to see the customer testimonials and all of that. So it was just a little out of order, but you get the gist. She is saying that what if it could help with all of them? And all of those were her 2 weeks ago. Sure, Jan. Let's talk about more claims. This one says, medical conditions BOO has fulvic acid has successfully treated the symptoms of. Let's read it out, shall we? It says open sores, parasite infection, cancers, fractures, gallstones, chemical burns, shingles, 26. I don't know what the 26 is there for. Chronic fatigue, sunburn, gastritis, chronic indigestion, stroke, gout, chronic psoriasis, heartburn, toxic buildup, ulcers, circulation problems, hemorrhoids, hemorrhoids, common colds, high blood pressure, varicose veins, HIV virus, yeast infection, colitis, hypoglycemia, croup, anemia, cystitis, high blood pressure, dermatitis, migraine headaches, angina, arteriosclerosis, diabetes, multiple sclerosis, diarrhea, arthritis, muscle cramps, burns, diverticulitis, nervous disorders, blood clots, nervous stomach, eczema, edema, bursitis. Y'all! Why? I can't. Last picture before we move into what it is. This one says, what's a good foot bath to purchase for my home use? And they say a glass 9x13 baking dish. Someone else showed a picture of their 9x13 baking dish, saying even their hubby's big feet fit into it. So I am not going to eat casserole things from dishes like that ever again at somebody's house. From here, they claim that parasites come out of feet, but also that parasites can come out of literally everywhere in your body. I've seen people talk about their nose, their mouth, like random parts of their skin, through their urine, and then of course, which makes the most sense, through their bowel movements. But anyway, that is what we're dealing with. Let's talk about what BOO is, or who they say it is. Or what they say it is. All right, so I'm going to be reading a lot of this. I'm going to try to make it as interesting as possible, try to not go monotone, which sometimes I will watch my videos as I'm editing and be like, oh, you could have had a little bit more non-monotoneness to you. But I just want to read you exactly what they're saying and show you the screenshots of it, and I'll go briefly through it as much as I can. So some of this is going to be true. Like they say, fulvic acid is an organic compound naturally found in the earth's soil and bodies of water. Makes sense. It's a consequence of millions of microbes breaking down decaying matter during a process called humification. There is also what in like bogs, you'll find that animals will die and they will be part of it too. It's just the overall that organic kind of compounds. And when I mean organic, I mean like what we hear about when we talk about like even in organic chemistry. Everything's made out of carbon kind of thing, not organic as what most people would think of like organic, but like truly organic, like carbon based. So going back to, this was in a group that I was kicked out of, but I went through, they have like different, I forgot what it's called in Facebook, units, that's the word, where you can go through the different units and they are broken down to kind of teach you about it. That's what I went through. There was like 6 or 7 units and took lots of screenshots. So they say that fulvic acid contains over 80 beneficial nutrients, including electrolytes, antioxidants, prebiotics, postbiotics, enzymes, amino acids, natural detoxifying compounds, and much more, which makes sense. Like when you think about it, like it's dirt. It's what we use to grow fruits and vegetables and what we use to just for overall food. So it makes sense, like there is going to be minerals in there. There are going to be other different compounds in there. There can be some ones that are a little bit concerning, a little bit toxic maybe, but there are going to be minerals in there. That's how our produce gets them. Going back to what they said, over the last century, excessive agriculture, monocropping, and the overuse of chemical pesticides, which everything is going to be a chemical, and fertilizers in large-scale commercial agriculture operations has resulted in a drastic depletion of nutrients in soil. This kind of reminds me of I'll put up a picture of a claim that goes around most nutrition-related MLM companies. I've seen it in Arbonne. I've seen it in Beachbody too, not as much. I think mostly I've seen it in Arbonne. Some of the other ones as well, talking about how like you have to eat X amount of oranges or X amount of apples or something to make it be where it was at decades ago. And so I go over what the study that they're referencing, because they never reference an actual study. You have to like dig for it, but also like what the study actually says and why they say it and what part of the reason is beyond just using the soil. I know I dove into that specifically in my RX video, but I made a graphic to go along with that, and so I'll try to see if I can link that somehow below as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe Dropbox. Back to them. We no longer receive an abundance of minerals in our food as we once did. We still receive an abundance. I can see them saying there's a change in it, but we still receive a good amount. Back to them. The good news is that you can get the benefits of fulvic acid and the nutrients it contains by taking a quality supplement. If you're interested in learning more about how it can affect health, then keep reading. We're about to cover 12 proven health benefits of fulvic and humic acid. So this is them saying proven. This is not me saying proven, by the way. And some of these are not proven. So it says, number 1, increases energy and reduces fatigue. They are talking a little bit about energy production in the mitochondria, ATP, all of the important information to know if you're like in a biology class or anatomy, physiology, or needing that kind of information. So they're just kind of giving that background on ATP production or energy production in our cells. And then they go into talking about research has shown that Shilajit, which contains fulvic acid, attenuates chronic fatigue symptoms, most likely through maintaining mitochondrial function and integrity. Remember what the mitochondria is? The energy powerhouse in the cell. Fulvic acid has been shown to deliver more of the key nutrients to mitochondria, increasing the uptake of oxygen. You can have mineral deficiency and you can take minerals, increase your intake of minerals through food or individual supplementation not related to an MLM product, and receive beneficial impacts or effects in your body because we need minerals. And so it's not like anything but this product in particular. You can just do that outside of BOO. Number 2 was strengthening immunity. This is where that woman, I suppose, was getting her information about how it can help with what is going on in the world right now. Again, if you are deficient in a lot of minerals, like yeah, your body, if you're going to provide it with the mineral amount that we need, yeah, that's going to help overall health. But again, just talking about like BOO in particular and saying like this is the product that's going to do versus like we just need good nutrients. We just need nutrients, a variety of nutrients. We need to consume them. That's different. Number 3, it says it increases cognitive function and decreases the risk of age-related cognitive diseases. 4, it increases nutrient and supplement absorption. So it helps your body to basically be more bioavailable, have more bioavailability of those nutrients, or make those nutrients more bioavailability. That would be a better way of saying it, which is a word we just use in like biochemistry, parts of physiology of just how your body is going to break down, nutritional biochemistry of just how the body is going to break down the food, if it's available or is it going to just be excreted out right away. So something that we might talk about with bioavailability is like a multivitamin, versus more so than like food or anything. I mean, you could talk about it with fortification and everything, but going back to this. Okay, so they're talking about some of the studies in rats and their supplementation absorption when it comes to their levels of hemoglobin and just overall blood cells, blood panels, that it confirmed that it helped increase iron levels. Yes, you can absorb iron better. That's one of the reasons, like the difference of heme and non-heme iron, or animal-based or plant-based iron, and how when we have that plant-based iron and we have a deficiency, or even without a deficiency, we will encourage food related or food forms of other nutrients like vitamin C to help with absorption of it, with bioavailability of it. So again, you're talking about just basic general nutrition, vitamins, minerals, things we can get from food, or if we need it in a supplement form based on labs, then we can also purchase that in a grocery store. Don't have to get dirt. Number 5 says may help with high blood sugar, diabetes, and obesity. It's funny because they say the results of it are promising. However, these results do not mean fulvic acid is a viable replacement for a healthy diet and exercise program, which, yeah, that is one thing that I will agree with. Number 6, lowers free radical damage and acts as a powerful antioxidant, that it should be used in pharmaceuticals as an accessible source of natural antioxidants. You know, the weird thing is, though, whenever they do have a source listed, like there wasn't a source underneath. Like they were just, I don't know if they were copying and pasting from another resource or a page or something that had the link to the actual studies, but I couldn't find the studies. I just saw that they were putting like a reference number to those studies. So I'm not sure exactly the study that they're referencing here, but I will say that if you are, I mean, same thing kind of with what I was mentioning in the beginning, if we have this kind of soil that is helping us get nutrients into our produce, yeah, that's going to also help with antioxidants overall. Again, going back to what is in it, can we just get more of that produce in order to get the antioxidants? Like that would be the approach that I would go, and the food quality amounts in general overall, what I would do. Number 7 is that it supports a healthy gut and microbiome. Again, they talk about emerging evidence that fulvic acid has a lot of therapeutic potential to improve gut-based diseases, but they don't have that source. Number 8 is improves muscle function and increases testosterone. So they relate it back though to with the fulvic acid helping to increase mitochondrial function and increase in production of ATP, which leads to an increase in physical performance, specifically in regards to strength and explosiveness. So that relates back to that very first one. They're just kind of adding on to it. 9, it naturally detoxifies and chelates heavy metals. Basically, they're saying naturally detoxifies and just helps with kind of like binding to those metals and making them come out. They say it helps to decrease inflammation, which is kind of what they were saying prior as well. Next up is may slow down aging and increase in longevity. So they're coming to that from being able to exercise. Again, going back to mitochondria, so when it has more energy and stronger resilience to stress, you can essentially exercise more, so helping with your longevity in that way, which exercise is great and it's good, but I don't know if I would say that's all going to be on BOO. Or not, I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say that. They say it protects and repairs skin as well. Okay, so commonly asked questions or common questions answered that was also in the group. They were talking about you can begin with a drink, a foot bath, a mud bath, a face mask. You can start slow and with a low dosage, so 1/8 to 1/4 teaspoon in water, coffee, juice, or smoothie. Increase as you feel ready by listening to your body. They say yes, you can drink and do masks and baths daily. Yes, it is safe for kids to drink. You can even brush your teeth with it. It does not stain. Animals do well too, sprinkling fulvic acid or fulvic powder over their food or in their water, or you can bake dog treats with the fulvic powder. This is not something that I would ever feel comfortable providing for my pets personally. There's apparently the common question of detox reactions. If they say if you get constipated or detox too fast, to slow down and drink plenty of water. And the question for, is it safe for pregnant people and nursing people? They say minerals are not only safe but essential to healthy pregnancy and childbirth, which that part is true. But they say to start with 1 week of foot baths and then slowly increase dosage every day until you get to the full dose if you have no detox symptoms. And you can see a post made by somebody in there who is a pregnant detoxification specialist that helps break down this question further. Now, I mentioned that I'll be talking about kind of what the science says, what the evidence says, but I wanted to interrupt this just in case anybody doesn't continue watching further. This is not true. I just wanted to make this very clear, really briefly. This is not recommended in pregnant or nursing people. And so the fact that they even say that it is safe with evidence-based websites, evidence-based information, evidence-based resources say the opposite is really upsetting, because at that point, people who are pregnant are usually dealing with a lot of different emotions and feelings, and they just want to do what's best for their future family member. And so I think it's really inappropriate and disgusting for them to just clearly state that it is safe when it says that it is not safe in actual evidence-based places. There's also the question they get asked if it is safe for autoimmune conditions, and they say that it's especially beneficial for those with autoimmune and neurological issues, since those people have high levels of toxicity and depletion. And just like the last claim, we'll discuss this more later, but in case somebody doesn't watch all the way through, this is not safe for people with autoimmune conditions. So I was able to have a conversation with former BOO representative David. He made it very clear that when he was active or involved in BOO, that nobody was making these kind of claims on parasites and all these other kind of extravagant things. He told me that the last certificate of analysis of the actual product, the last one was in 2017, and they're currently apparently working on one. I don't know why a company with a nutrition supplement would have its last certificate of analysis or any kind of breakdown, how that last one would be from 2017 when it's already 2021, at least at the time of this recording, and they still haven't gotten an updated one. That is really sketchy to me. But yeah, that's the certificate of analysis. I'll try to see if I can also upload that as well. So you can see all the minerals in there that's showing up. Some of the ones you might expect, some of the ones that I wouldn't, like the K2O or potassium oxide from the NIH National Library of Medicine. It says that contact may severely irritate skin, eyes, mucous membranes, may be toxic by ingestion, inhalation, and skin absorption. It's used to make other chemicals. So there are some kind of things in there that are a little bit concerning. I really am curious how comparable the BOO product is in 2021 versus how it was in 2017. But even if it was still 2017, I would not feel comfortable soaking anything of my body in it or ingesting it, even less so. So it's just this certificate of analysis, it doesn't give me much hope. This former distributor and also a lot of other people have brought it to the attention that the location is a little bit sketch. The apparent bog that they are getting the product from is next to a waste management facility. So there's some concern that there may be some contamination of toxic things going on when it's so close to a facility of that nature. David was able to share this clip from the CEO of BOO talking about where they get their product from.
The extraction is a very unique mud that contains an ingredient that is good for your health. And it's one of the best in the world, and it's out in Casselman area, Moose Creek area. Yeah. And we extract the mud to get the quality of the scientific ingredients in it.
It's amazing.
So he talks about being in like the Moose Creek area, which makes sense. When you look at, there's a distributor who has a kind of a myths or information about what she's kind of heard people talking against Boo about. So I'll show you from the website. Is Black Oxygen Organics a scam? And if you scroll down, she'll talk about lots of different claims. But there's a claim that Boo, or the bog that Boo comes from, is located or is next to a radioactive waste dump, waste water treatment facility, etc. And she says, truth. No. It's quite out in the middle of nowhere in Canada. The bog is miles from Castleman, which the person just said it was in Castleman area, Moose Creek area, but she furthers on with which in 2016 had a population of less than 3,000 people, which that doesn't make a difference. It may look big on a map, but that's just because it's surrounded by nothing. So you click where she has middle of nowhere in Canada. So you click that link and it goes to Moose Creek Bog in Canada. Literally the bog that we were talking about. So she did this herself. She put in the coordinates of it, and you can see, like, I'm not messing. This is actually from the website, directly going to the link. You can see Moose Creek Bog. That's where she put the coordinates for. And then you can see Moose Creek Landfill right next to it. And this is like near that Castleman area. And so you have the CEO saying that it's near Castleman and Moose Creek. And then you have this distributor who's saying, no, it's not next to this kind of waste management landfill area, but then links the coordinates. It's just interesting. But going back to the certificate of analysis, a high up distributor, when asked about it, they said that an updated one is coming soon, but an old one, the 2017 one, that is slightly incorrect, is found in your back office library, which I'm curious what is slightly incorrect about it. They don't mention what is slightly incorrect about it. And then when someone asks about it, usually he says they just give it to them, give them the current one from the back office under resources, and let them know we're getting a new one. And this was posted 12 weeks ago, actually more than that. This was 12 weeks ago from this, and so now it's even longer ago. Still no update, nothing about that third-party testing or purification process or anything about it. First off, if you're distributing for a bog, for dirt, if you're distributing dirt, I don't know how you would feel comfortable without having updated information, first off. But two, if you're purchasing it as a customer, I also don't understand how you would feel comfortable without having that third-party testing. And I realize that a lot of those people maybe are they're tired, they don't know what's going on, they see all of the different claims that distributors are making, and so they might go ahead and purchase it without. But I just encourage you, highly, highly, highly encourage you, please, like, there are so many people who want to take advantage of people who are in vulnerable situations, in tough situations. And so if you are struggling with something, like, keep your guard up. This is not fair to you. It's not fair to just health care in general. It's very alarming and very concerning. And I just hope that the appropriate authorities can do what they can to stop this from continuing on. So we don't have a lot of information about, like, the breakdown of the humic acid versus the fulvic acid, but David did let me know that the claims that Boo has of fulvic acid is false, and that it's actually closer to that 5% fulvic acid, which is pretty average when you're talking about soil containing anywhere from like 4 to 11%. So according to him, it's just not what they're saying that it is. Okay, so moving into mostly my portion, fulvic acid information. I am sorry that I had to give you all of that background. This is more of that focus on that nutrition side. We've been taking it from a nutrition side overall, I would say, but this is even more focused on that. Some of my main concerns with Boo overall, those claims. While fulvic acid in general, while we have the soil that can provide nutrients in there, again, going back to how we plant and how we grow our produce, it can technically help to increase mineral intake. However, the claims that they are making are highly inappropriate. in my opinion. I also have the concern of contamination. The fact of the location, one, but also in the groups, and there's not many, and I don't know if they get deleted or what, but people have shared their bad experiences with it. And even on the actual company Facebook page, like the main one, the official one, people are sharing their experiences of it. And so I'm just concerned that some of the symptoms that they are getting, that they could be actual like symptoms of having something toxic going on in your body, and your body trying to work through that to get those legitimate toxins out, because you're consuming this product from this bog in Canada that's, according to what the CEO said and the distributor who was trying to disprove that, according to them, is next to that landfill. I have the concern that there is not an updated certificate of analysis or third-party testing in any way since 2017. Again, we're in 2021 as of this recording. And for supplements, if I can, I always recommend getting a supplement from a product, from a company that has third-party testing consistently, like they're updated on it, whether that is USP or NSF. There are those third-party testing resources for a reason, so that they can test to see, making sure that there aren't any contaminants, aren't any fillers, that everything that's actually on the label is in the product. That is important to have, and that is something that I will always encourage people, if they are taking supplements, to look for that third-party testing. Yes, it is going to provide you with some minerals, but you can get those from a grocery store without risking all of those other contamination concerns. So Shilajit is that main bioactive of fulvic acid. I'll leave a link directly to this from Examine, which is one of my favorite resources to use when looking at supplements in particular. And they mention on there that there's not very many human studies, and that it's currently in the preliminary stages of research in the West. And I thought this was really interesting. They say that in Canada, the sale of it has been prohibited due to high heavy metal levels found. And it is recommended to ask for a certificate of analysis in order to buy from reputable sellers. And going back to that old certificate of analysis, like BOO really needs to get a handle on this. Because, I mean, it looks like they have a license to sell because of it, but how has it changed from then? I cannot stress this enough. Ask your doctor, talk to your doctor before starting to take this supplement. There isn't enough reliable information to know whether it is safe to use during pregnancy and breastfeeding, so it is recommended to stay on the safe side and avoid usage of it. And with autoimmune diseases, it might increase the activity of the immune system. I mentioned at the beginning, or towards the beginning, it's not recommended. They're saying that it's recommended for immune-related conditions, but it is not. And people with some autoimmune diseases should be cautious or avoid fulvic acid altogether. There's also concern that consuming fulvic acid can increase the risk of developing Cauchy-Beck bone disease. I'm not very familiar with that specific disease, but again, going to the resources, asking your doctor specifically what it, like in your case, what they recommend, and if they would recommend BOO or anything from an MLM company, I would maybe get a second opinion. It tends to be more of that kind of alternative, kind of woo side of things. And that's just not how I practice. That's not where I fall in line with, just ethically. And so just get that checked by your doctor first, in my opinion. I am also concerned about the parasites that people are seeing when they are soaking their feet, or when they get it in their nose or consume it, anything. I'm concerned about the parasites that they are seeing, and a lot of people in the groups have been just wondering, like, is it just that it is dried dirt, and once you put hydration, once you hydrate it, once you put water in it, are those like rehydrating? Of course they're going to be dead, but are they going to just be rehydrated, like the worms and the other little creatures in there? Like, is that what's going on? Because there are some pictures of people who have put water into their BOO and that have noticed that things are floating around in there without having to soak in it. So I did reach out to an expert who has her PhD in parasitology. I'm super excited to share this information in particular because this is from somebody who is an expert in parasites. She defended and got her PhD in cryptosporidium. She is exactly who I was hoping for, what I was hoping for to ask these questions to. Her name is Jennifer Dumaine. I will put her information in the description box as well, showing exactly how her name is listed on publications. So I asked her about 4 questions. Number 1, are parasites common in people in the US/Canada? She responded with, parasite infections can be found in humans both in the US and Canada. However, this is an infrequent event compared to other regions of the world. This is largely due to sanitation and hygiene practices in these countries and the ability to have access to clean running water. The overwhelming majority of human parasite infections within the US and Canada occur due to failure of water treatment facilities, contact with animals or other humans who may be infected, or consuming undercooked meat. Parasite infections occur when people come into contact with fecal material containing parasite eggs or when coming in contact with the worms themselves in the environment. The second question I asked was, should we be regularly partaking in detoxing to get rid of potential parasites? She responded with, parasitic infections occur so infrequently in humans in the US and Canada that the risk of infection is very low and does not require regular detoxing. Very few parasitic infections result in totally asymptomatic infections, so there are almost always symptoms that lead an infected individual to seek medical attention. And just by the way, I hate that word detoxing. I just had to use it because a lot of these BOO distributors, they are using that word, and so I'm just trying to use the same words, but you know, if you've watched my channel before, if you know me, you know how much I hate that word detoxing. The next question I asked was, do parasites come out of someone's foot after soaking in fulvic acid? Is it expected to drink, mask, soak in fulvic acid and have parasites come out of various places? She responded with, parasites would typically not come out of someone's foot after soaking in fulvic acid. While there is one parasite, guinea worm, that does emerge from skin in response to water, this parasite is found exclusively in Africa and there is no evidence it responds to fulvic acid. It is sometimes possible for intestinal parasites to be shed in feces once they die, but there has been no evidence that fulvic acid kills parasites to make this happen. I don't know of any parasites that emerge from the tongue. And in regards to that, I did share with her a TikTok of someone who they did a mask on their tongue with BOO, and they were just spitting out the water, spitting out the dirt, and they were calling it a parasite. It was disgusting. And the last question was, is fulvic acid recommended as a way to rid the body of parasites? And she responded with, to date, there is no scientific evidence that fulvic acid kills parasites. There is more and more promising research about fulvic acid impacting metabolites and bacteria that live inside our intestines, which have been shown to have many implications for overall health and wellness. Despite these advances, there has been little research into the anti-parasitic effects of fulvic acid. Again, just am so grateful and thankful that Jennifer was able to take the time out of her day to provide me with these responses. Her information will be listed down below, those publications. And I don't know about you, but I am somebody who is going to listen to someone who has defended their dissertation and got their PhD in this field versus somebody who is just reading things online and selling this kind of dirt product. All right, so let's get back to the video. Okay, so moving into a few more claims that I wanted to share with you. This person says, it was in the group that I was kicked out of. They said, please don't bash me for asking this, but can this be used to cleanse a uterus and PMS symptoms? And I mean directly, since I am reading people are using it in all kinds of ways. Someone was encouraging using maybe like a basting, like what you would use to baste a turkey at Thanksgiving, using a basting device to like cleanse the uterus, like pushing it up there. Somebody was guessing that you could use a douche maybe and possibly retain it in by raising your lower body while it's in you. So like laying down and raising your body up. Oh my gosh. If anybody has a uterus who's watching, let me know your thoughts on that. Just the thought of doing that to cleanse your uterus when it's already doing what it needs to do. Especially if there is like dehydrated worms, things in there, and you're just putting it in there, like, ugh. Someone was wondering if they can put it in their eyes, nose, or ears. Serious question, by the way. Someone said they spoke to someone today whose husband uses the eye drops, fulvic acid eye drops. Someone uses it as a sinus rinse, which sounds like a terrible idea. That sounds like a future infection. Now, this will be the last claim screenshot that I share. This one really got me heated though. So somebody asked if anybody is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and taking Boo. Her fiance was diagnosed and curious if it will affect him, if anything at all. So somebody said that they are type 2 and they've been taking it for a month. It helped lower their blood sugar, especially in the morning, and not sure, but thinking it's helping with the cravings and that it is helping maybe with the absorption of carbs and turning them into protein, which I've never heard before, or helping our muscles to absorb the protein better, which that's not really how it works. But her numbers have been better than they have been in years, and she hasn't changed anything else according to her. And somebody thankfully had mentioned that she was trying to help, but carbs don't turn into protein. The person responded with, yes, they do, but not in diabetics, not the way they're supposed to. And I'm thinking Boo makes that happen. She then says that she misread the reply and elaborates on that carbs bind to insulin and turn into a protein that is carried into your muscles, which no, it's the glycogen. The carbs break down to glucose, and I think it's a glycogen, but the carbs break down into glucose, and insulin does help to get it into the cell, but it's not turning it into a protein. It is still glucose. It is glucose through and through. I will even put up a picture of what glucose looks like and how it looks like breaking down in glycolysis and what we need it for energy purposes. It doesn't turn into a protein. So this is the kind of information that you are seeing that I saw in these kind of groups. One of the reasons why they wanted to kick me out, apparently. Not everybody is going to be or needs to be educated in diabetes. Like, that's why we have experts talking about it. That's why we give information about it. But to so confidently share information like this. And another thing that got me heated, somebody else responded, they jumped into the conversation that said diabetics type 2 are from poor eating habits and being obese. Lose the weight and fix the eating habits, plus fix your mineral deficiencies with Fulvic, and you will not need to use your meds after about 4 to 6 months of continuous use. There is so much wrong with this comment. The fact that he's saying that you can do these things and you won't need to use your meds after 4 to 6 months of use with Boo and everything, I just think that that claim is so misinformed and it is dangerous. Thankfully, one of the Boo people did put a angry reaction on it. Someone put a heart reaction on it too, but at least there was at least one angry reaction. I would have angry reacted, but I was trying to stay undercover as much as I could. Not to mention the other uneducated point he made about type 2 diabetes being from poor eating habits and being obese. This is a common misconception, and you can actually get type 2 diabetes without those. It's incredibly irresponsible of him to spew out that misinformation and that kind of information that can lead to people having uncontrolled diabetes and be in a very dangerous place if they begin having symptoms and signs of diabetes, but don't get things checked out because they are quote unquote at a healthy body weight, or if they're thin. It's a trash comment. So this is where we need your help. If you come across claims from Boo or other things, please report them. The FTC and other places need to hear from people how bad things are getting with these kind of distributors and claims. So from MLMombie, she provided a lot of resources on how to report them. I will have those also in the description box down below so that you can report them if you come across them. If you can, that would be very much appreciated. So what is next for Boo? The purpose of this video was to really introduce Boo and start talking about it, bringing it up here on YouTube along with some of the other creators who are also doing that as well. Show what they're about. show some of the claims that they're making, and encourage people to start reporting them. There is so much happening in the world of BOO right now with the whole updated certificate of analysis thing going on, with the new groups that are coming out and the other testimonial groups that are kicking people out, and just people are starting to talk about it like within the last couple of weeks, really a lot more than ever before. I'm supposed to be, along with a couple other creators, supposed to be getting a sample of it so we can kind of see if anything rehydrates once we put some water into it. We're not going to be drinking it. I'm not going to be soaking in it or anything. I just want to see what happens when I put water into it, see if anything kind of pops up. So I'm planning on having update videos with that. All right, so that's it for this video. Let me know your thoughts about BOO, any of the claims that stood out to you, the product itself, the concerning factors of location, certificate of analysis, anything like that. Let me know your thoughts. This is wild. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm sure if it gets any dislikes, the BOO people will have found it, and I'm curious to see how many of them will actually watch this video, how many of them are just going to leave a dislike. Either way, it's going to help with engagement, so not too worried about that. But that's it. Let me know your thoughts again in the comments, and remember, you can strive for health without subscribing to diet culture. All right, I'll see you later.